My husband of 20 years is cheating on me with our son's 18-year-old girlfriend. I'm going to use pseudonyms for anyone I reference in this post. I, 41F, am a stay-at-home mom. My husband, 48M, whom we'll call Paul, works in finance. We have been married for nearly 20 years. We have 2 kids, whom we'll call Eric, our 18-year-old son, currently a senior in high school, and Mary, our 15-year-old daughter. They are both the lights of my life. My marriage with my husband has grown somewhat stale over the years, for a myriad of reasons, such as his work schedule and how I've aged poorly since we first met. Our son, Eric, has a girlfriend, 18F, whom he's been dating since they were freshmen in high school. We'll call her Amy. Eric absolutely adores Amy. She's his first love, and she's someone I've always considered as family. This makes the whole situation emotionally excruciating for me. Last week, I inadvertently saw my husband's phone screen and got a glimpse of a text thread between my husband and Amy, our son's girlfriend, and I read what looked like a message of her telling him that she misses sucking his cock. I froze in place, in complete disbelief. I spent most of the day convincing myself that I must have misread what I saw. However, I didn't misread it because, over the last several days, I discovered a file on his computer filled with tons of BDSM porn. He clearly has a porn addiction. He also has saved photos of Amy from her Instagram on his computer. Although they weren't inappropriate, she was fully clothed. It was still the proof I needed to confirm that I wasn't going crazy. I also looked at his phone during opportune moments and saw more of their interactions. I wish I had never looked. They were filled with mean, horrible things said at my expense, with him constantly comparing me to her. He would call me fat and old, among other things, with Amy LOLing. I've always had hunches or paranoid feelings that Paul has been cheating on me, but never in a million years could I have fathomed something like this. Last month, I found a thong in our bedroom that I know wasn't mine. I turned a blind eye to it, being naive and acting like it was maybe our daughter's, even though that made zero sense. Not only is he cheating on me, but he's betraying our son. I'm completely devastated. I don't even think words can adequately describe the dread, anger, shock I feel right now. I'm totally overwhelmed on how to handle this because obviously action needs to be taken, but I'm terrified of what kind of psychic blow this will be for my son. I have no idea how to even broach this completely fucked up topic with him. I wouldn't wish this predicament on my worst enemy. I can't even believe I married this scumbag in the first place. And then my mind started to race, realizing that I started noticing specifically unusual behavior from him around the same time Amy turned 18. Was he waiting for her to turn 18 before pursuing this affair? There's so many layers to all of this, and I'm completely paralyzed with fear and dread about it all. None of it makes any fucking sense. How did this happen? Am I that much of a stupid idiot that I let all of this happen under my watch? Eric adores Amy, and the thought of revealing this sickening truth to him terrifies me. The impact on his young heart and mind could be devastating. My heart aches for Eric and Mary, who are completely innocent bystanders. I haven't confronted my husband about this because I'm frankly scared of the domino effect. I don't know who to turn to first about this. I share my story not for sympathy, but in search of understanding and perhaps advice from those who might have had to grapple with deep betrayal. Thank you for listening. Further info from to not have my initial post be long-winded because I didn't think I needed to get into the minutia of this, I didn't bother going into those details. How I inadvertently saw it was this: he was on his phone. He did not have iMessage open currently on the screen, but the application was still open. You know how on the iPhone when you swipe up, and it shows all of the applications that are open and you can close them. When he was closing out the applications, something he does compulsively, I noticed it. It's not like he was some kind of idiotic buffoon having iMessage open for all to see. I saw he forgot he had the application running when he swiped up from a completely different app. Also, I did say in my post that I went back to his phone to actually solidify my suspicion on a different day. So you are incorrect in asserting that I'm now magically changing my story. I am being consistent. Relevant comments. Yogurt Closet, OK5338. If she's freshly 18, isn't this illegal? There's no way they weren't doing anything illegal before she turned into an adult. Also, even if so, the age gap is over 3 decades. Your husband is suspect ASF. Police immediately. OP. She's been 18 for 5 months now. I haven't been able to gauge when their affair started. I'm trying my hardest to figure that out. He deletes his texts every couple of weeks, it seems like, so I haven't been able to pinpoint when this whole thing started. OPADs in the comments. Thank you everyone for overwhelming support. I'm sorry if I haven't responded to your private messages. I'll get to it when I can. Dealing with a lot right now and taking a lot of steps that need to be taken. I'm trying to be smart and strategic with this truly surreal and terrible situation I'm in. I want to be clear that not telling my son about this was never something I was considering. I didn't mean to make it seem that way. I was just saying I'm intensely dreading it, but obviously it needs to be addressed. It's one part of the many steps of my overall plan. I'm currently playing dumb and collecting as much evidence as I can, so I can be prepared for anything and everything. I'm going to protect myself, and I'm going to make sure I don't put myself in any potential harm's way. I'll post a more thorough update soon when I can. But please know, you've all touched my heart so much and made me feel less alone. I am divorcing my husband because he cheated on me with our son's 18-year-old girlfriend. Reddit. March 22nd, 2024. I'm using pseudonyms for confidentiality. I shared a situation a few days ago on another subreddit involving my 41F husband, Paul, 48M, our children, Eric, 18M, and Mary, 15F. I discovered that Paul was having an affair with our son's 18-year-old girlfriend, Amy. My son has been dating her since they were freshmen in high school. My brother connected me to a very tough junkyard dog-type lawyer. I saved screenshots of all his conversations with Amy. I was only able to get the last 3 months from iCloud. The conversations were mostly flirty and dirty talk. It was hard to stomach, completely sleazy, and I saw several negative things said about me. His call history showed he talks with her for hours pretty consistently. He uses dating apps. I took screenshots of his profiles and all of the active chats he has with his matches. It's very clear he uses a filter to seek out girls who are 18-22 or so. I copied all of his files from the computer. He goes on sex chat rooms and forums, and he spends a ton of money on OnlyFans. I rummaged through every possible hiding spot I could think of in the house. He had various toys, blindfolds, cuffs, lubricants, etc. He also had different outfits which looked kind of like a girl's Catholic school uniform and a French maid type outfit too. I picked up Eric and Mary from school, and we all drove to my brother's. They were able to sense something was awry when I picked them up. I delicately told them the entire situation, and I broke down crying. Mary had the most anger, even more than Eric. I met with Amy's mother and told her everything. She confiscated Amy's phone and gave me the entire chat log. It only dated back 3 months ago, like on my husband's cloud, almost as if they both deleted the messages at the same time. She told me Amy sobbed when confronted. Amy basically told her mother that she will never understand and that she and him are in love. I don't want to get into too many details with what else she was saying, but suffice to say, it's very easy to assume that my husband slowly and methodically became a sage-like figure in her life, making her feel she could rely on him, and he took advantage of the fact that she came from a broken home. Amy is also nonstop insistent that their friendship only became romantic, physical, recently, and before that, she said he was more of a friend and mentor. I confronted Paul over Zoom. The look on his face was scary. He became red and looked so sweaty. He had anger and panic in his eyes. His tone of voice was very defensive and frightening. He kept yelling the word context over and over again, and that none of that happened. He was unable to speak without constant stutters and intensity. Nothing really made any sense to me. I refused to tell him where I was, and he said I had no right to take his kids away from him, and then he abruptly left the Zoom. My lawyer is filing for temporary sole custody of Mary and a restraining order. Mary is still the most angry. She's totally furious with her dad and Amy, justifiably so, of course. Mary is recollecting moments and times she watched her dad interact with her friends, and she's in knots about it. Eric is very clearly hurting, but he's so strong and very level-headed. He wants to see a therapist. The maturity my kids are showing makes me proud. They don't deserve this at all. We made the authorities aware of everything, I plan on being completely unforgiving and ruthless in this divorce. I'm reflecting on how I've been treated, and how it's made me a shell of myself, and how I've had a very negative opinion of myself because of him over the last 20 years. I don't want to let this scumbag get away with it. I want to reinvent myself and move on stronger than ever. Relevant comments. Dla friends. How is your son holding up? What has developed between him and Amy? Ope. He hasn't spoken to Amy yet since finding out the news, and I'm not sure if he ever will again. Deleted. Have you confirmed if the thong you found was Amy's? The situation is fucked up. Ope. I confirmed that it wasn't my daughter's. She said it wasn't hers, and I know it wasn't mine. So who else's could it be? Deleted. Wait. Are you saying that they fucked in the master bedroom? Huh. 59 Vortier. Don't cheaters always use their married bed? Ope. Yes, I believe he did. OP adds in the comments. Both me and my son are going to get tested and checked out as well. There's no telling how many different women he's been sleeping around with. As for Amy, her mom has been in contact with me, and Amy has been threatening to run away with him because they are in love. Update number 2, March 27th, 2024. Previous update link, https www.reddit.com, user aetor83, comments 1bn5091, update I am Anpam divorcing. My husband, I told my kids. Thank you again for all the love and encouragement. It gives me comfort and means so much to me. I've received many comments and messages accusing me of faking this story, which oddly also provides comfort because all of this feels unreal, even to me. It validates my own feelings that there are people out there who can't even fathom this being true. I wish it were fake. I've been focusing on and worrying about how others are feeling over this, somewhat ignoring my own feelings, which I'm trying to change. I range from anger to numbness like a light switch. We're all safe and still at my brother's house. We're very careful, and his house is secured. Paul has tried to call my cell phone several times a day. I am refusing to interact with him, and I will have my lawyer handle all correspondence. He scares me, frankly. My brother has a very secure house with an alarm system and deadbolt locks. We feel safe with him. Both my son and I got checked out and tested. It appears so far that we're both clean based on the immediate rapid tests, but in the coming days we'll know for certain when the lab results come in. I'm not overly concerned. Eric is scheduled to see a therapist early next week, which is very good and needed. He's not himself right now. He seems a bit shell-shocked, and I am concerned. He internalizes a lot, and it's hard to get a read on what's going on in his head. That being said, he's thoughtful and has been talking with me, asking me how I'm doing and everything. He's not interested in corresponding with his dad at all. He calls only my cell phone, and he hasn't tried to reach out to either Eric or Mary. I get the sense that Paul is extremely nervous. He's scared, and I think he deep down knows that if investigated thoroughly, he would be in big trouble. That's what my gut is telling me. I still think about the Zoom call with him, and the more I think about it, the more it looked like he was a man whose entire world was crashing down on him. The panic in his face was very apparent. I offered Mary for me to make an appointment with a therapist as well, but she doesn't want to see one yet. She said she's open to it eventually, but wants time to herself. She's been asking her friends about her dad, and if they experienced any creepiness from him. Her friends were open and honest with her, and apparently, they felt like he stared a lot and sensed his hovering presence whenever they were over. One of Mary's friends went so far as to say that she felt like he was checking her out a lot, like looking at her rear and complimenting the color of her yoga pants. At the time, no issue was brought up about it, but in light of everything that has been happening, it seems strange now. He would sit himself in different areas or vantage points to get a good view of her, she claimed. He also asked questions about what kind of friend group or which clique they were in at school. He kept asking about if they were popular girls. I'm completely embarrassed that they had this experience at our house. As for updates on Amy, which is the main reason why I wanted to write this update, I completely agree that she is also a victim. A lot of people have been emphasizing that, and I agree. I've done everything I could in my own power to indirectly get her opportunities to get help. Like I said, I told her mother, and she's been updating me on everything. Amy, unfortunately, is still living in her deluded reality, and I can only pray that she'll eventually come to her senses. She doesn't want to see any doctors or therapists at all, and has been constantly trying to reach Paul because, again, she believes that they are in love. From what I've been told, she hasn't been able to get hold of him, and he's been avoiding communication with her completely. Amy blames me for that, and believes I took away his devices, and am very controlling. Any truth that her mother tries to convey to her is met with conspiracy theories and hostility. Amy looks at me as a villain, and still sees Paul through rose-colored glasses. Her mother showed her screenshots of his dating app profiles and matches, and she refuses to believe it, saying I photoshopped it. According to her mom, Amy keeps saying things like everyone is just mad because she found herself a real man, and that I'm jealous because she takes better care of him than I do. It's in line with some of the conversations I screenshot, where a lot of what Paul says is him complaining about things I don't do for him sexually. Right now, she's insistent that she and Paul will be together in the long run. Ugh, he's honestly a slimeball. I can only hope that Amy comes to her senses, but me directly intervening doesn't feel like it would be productive at the moment. Maybe eventually, though. Relevant comments. Useful escape. 45. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Reading all the previous posts, I honestly get the vibe that your husband wasn't a very good one to begin with. Someday, when you're ready, you're going to find someone who thinks you're glorious as you age. Your son is also going to be okay. He's gotten a lesson on exactly how men shouldn't behave. A painful one. But in time, he's going to realize that Amy was groomed and abused. It sounds like she was vulnerable, and your ex took advantage of a child who was in a bad situation. Hopefully, once Amy has had some time to process just how messed up this was, she'll tell the police the whole story. I fully believe something was happening before she turned 18. OP. I believe stuff happened before she was 18 too. John Miliano. Do you think they kept that relationship secret for most of Eric and Amy's relationship? What a disgusting father and pig if that is truth. OP. I'm not sure when things got actually physical or romantic, but I do think his grooming started as soon as she came into the picture when Eric started dating her freshman year. This mentor and a friend that Amy alluded to had to start right away, and the way she's acting now, being so indebted and believing every single thing he says, shows that his effect on her had to be over a long period of time. She only turned 18 like 5 months ago. Her behavior and infatuation for him seems so strong that it couldn't possibly be only 5 months of them being together. Minute Bus 6892. If they are consenting adults, then there is nothing to report. This is a personal problem that needs to be dealt with by attorneys and the people involved. People are way too jumpy to snap to the police to fix their problems anymore. OP is handling this the correct way. If any legal issues come into play, then her attorney will do the right thing. OP. The only thing we can really hang our hat on is the possibility of Amy having an epiphany of the reality of her situation, and she opens up candidly about when it began. But because she's 18 currently, and has no interest in saying or doing anything that could potentially put Paul in legal trouble, nothing really can be done. Unless they find out about other girls that I have no idea about yet. Story 2. I'm wasting money and engaging in an affair. I don't regret it one bit. It's a provocative title, I know. I'll cut to the chase. He is wasting my money and has had several sugar baby relationships. My husband and I are in our mid-50s. We've been married for over 30 years. I've worked very hard, working and raising our children. My husband by far had the lighter workload. But I didn't begrudge him that because I loved him. I spent my wages to help him through medical school. It came out of my pocket. He is doing well because I took on so many burdens. I've made so many sacrifices. I'm downright frugal. I hadn't bought a new item of clothing in 4 years. I made do because my husband wanted to retire early. I've had to balance being frugal and appealing to him my entire marriage. I could never weigh more or less than 125 pounds my entire marriage. When I gave birth, I had to bounce back. Drugstore makeup and drugstore skincare, mending my clothes so I didn't look shabby, all of this. I found out my husband is cheating on me. He is spending and has spent thousands of dollars on sugar babies. He has a monogamous relationship with one right now, and he's paying her rent, vacations, hair, nails, clothing, everything. To make it worse, he admitted he loved me like a mother, not as his wife, but as what I could do for him. He saw me as a burden. He wasn't attracted to me as I've aged. My knee-jerk reaction was to file for divorce. I found out through lawyers that because it was joint money, I couldn't recuperate what he had spent. So I decided to do the same. I'm spending thousands of dollars on looking and feeling beautiful. When he's out with his sugar baby, I'm at the same restaurant he would never take me to, but he did others. I spend money on friends and experiences. I've also engaged in affairs of my own. I've made it clear that my husband is cheating on me, and I've offered proof. I'm not trying to lie to anyone. I've been able to explore my sexuality and have new experiences. My partner right now is an absolute sweetheart, and very adventurous in a lot of ways. I won't be broke and homeless, I've made sure of that. I'm just taking care of me until I've spent an equal amount he has. If we divorce before then, so be it. If not, I'm fine with that. I've lost all romantic love for him, but still care for him like an unwanted family member. My girlfriend refuses to take Plan B. My M18 girlfriend, F18, and I had unprotected sex today. Normally, I use a condom. Admittedly, there have been a few times when I haven't worn a condom and I pulled out. I know that's not a real version of birth control. I know it was stupid and risky. Today I asked her if I could not use a condom and just pull out instead. She said she didn't think that was a good idea. That was fine. I was glad one of us was actually thinking. So I put a condom on. When she was getting close, she told me to take the condom off. She begged me to come in her. I knew it was a bad idea. I knew it was stupid and I shouldn't do it. But what did I do? I gladly took the condom off and came in her. It sounded like a great idea and felt really good in the moment. As soon as we finished, I told her we made a mistake and suggested that we get Plan B. She agreed that we behaved like idiots but said she didn't want Plan B. I offered to go get it, in case she was embarrassed or something. She refused and said she's scared to take it. She's worried about side effects. I told her, I understand that everything carries a risk of side effects, but I'm sure Plan B is pretty safe. Compared to the risks of pregnancy? Come on. She said she didn't want to take it and prefer to let the universe take its course, regarding whether she gets pregnant or not. Look, I know that I have no say about what she does with her body. I respect that. I know the only thing I had control over was whether I wore a condom or not, and I failed at that. I'm still pissed off and can't understand why she'd even want to risk this. Relevant comments. Taking accountability. It's your fault. I know I did. I admitted it. She didn't force me. I fucked up. She admitted we fucked up. I don't understand why she's so scared to take a pill that she would rather risk possibly getting pregnant. Letting the universe take its course sounds crazy. Especially crazy since she also has since told me she thinks it's her body's time of the month to get pregnant, and she keeps contacting me saying she hopes she's not pregnant. Take the pill then, it's not that complicated. If she's scared of the pill, she could get an IUD. She's scared of birth control too. She's trying to get pregnant. I really don't think she was trying to get pregnant. I think the idea just turned her on. You're naive. Nothing she's ever said indicates she wants to have a baby right now. She's been texting me since last night about how she doesn't want to have a baby and she's scared. Ovulation cycle. OOP clarifies her last period was January 30. I just looked it up on a calculator, and it says she would likely ovulate today, and that best chances for pregnancy would be sex a day or two before ovulation. If all that is accurate, I'm fucked. She baby trapped you for financial security. I'm 18, a senior in high school and have no job. I'm going to college in the fall. What kind of financial security would she think she was going to get? She's not that stupid. On why she might be scared of birth control. She goes to an all-girls Catholic school. Who knows what kind of stuff they're being told about all of this stuff there. One more from OOP, because many say he's blaming her when it's his fuck up. I said it's not my fault that I can't be the one to take the pill. I did not say that removing the condom wasn't my fault. If I could be the one to take the pill instead of her, I would. I'd be doing it for the sake of both of us. Unfortunately, that's not an option. She's the only one who could do it. I also acknowledge that I understand that I have absolutely no say in what she does with her body, whether that's Plan B, abortion, etc. Nowhere have I blamed her for where I ejaculated. In my original post, as well as a number of comments, I've taken full responsibility for that. Not sure why people continue to comment as if I'm blaming her. If she gets pregnant, we are both to blame. Yeah, I wish she'd have taken Plan B. Do I think she's completely to blame if she ends up pregnant? Definitely not. I don't see this as her problem only. It's our problem. If we have a baby, it affects both of us, and I'm not a POS who would just walk away. I said we, not just she. IMO, we both fucked up. It's not like I came in her against her will. She wanted it, in the moment. I acknowledge that I could have and should have said no. I made my own free choice to take the condom off. She's not to blame for what I did whatsoever. I just think we were caught up in the moment. But afterwards, I felt like I was doing the responsible thing, as responsible as you can get after doing something so stupid, by suggesting Plan B and offering to get it. I feel like if you don't want a baby, that's really the only option other than abortion once the deed's been done. She keeps saying she doesn't want a baby. She's scared, panicking, etc. So, I offered the only real possible solution there could be at this time, and she turned it down. Better than throwing my hands up and saying, well, there's absolutely nothing we can do now. If you truly don't want a baby, there is a solution. And I'm sorry that due to biology, she would have to be the one to take the pill instead of me. Did I yell at her and demand that she take it? No. Did I specifically say that all of the people here suggesting that I crush it up and slip it in her drink were creepy and that I'd never do something like that? Yes, I am angry at myself for what happened. Update post. February 29th, 2024. 18 days later. This is an update to my original post about my girlfriend refusing to take Plan B. Her period was due a few days ago, but it didn't come. She wanted to wait a week or two to take a test. She just wants to avoid everything. I bought the test because she was too embarrassed to do it. She said she'd take it this weekend. Sure. She'd probably mysteriously lose the test before taking it. I made her take it last night when I was at her house. It's super faint, but looks positive. There's a barely visible plus sign there. You have to look really close to see it. Can there ever be situations where it's a false positive this early on? Could it just be a trick of the light or something? I feel my world ending now. I know it only takes one time, but what are the chances that the one time we have unprotected sex and I don't pull out she gets pregnant? I learned my lesson. I was never going to risk it again. I was going to be so good forever after this. Relevant comments. Have you talked to her about an abortion? The conversation hasn't gotten that far. There was very little talking afterwards, just her crying for ages. Mini update in comments. March 11th, 2024, 11 days later. Not really. She took another pregnancy test a few days after the one with the really light line. It turned positive immediately, and didn't even take the full time to show up. She keeps saying, I can't have a baby. But she also refuses to tell her parents or anyone else. I keep telling her she's wasting time. She's wasted over a week. Relevant comments. Abortion? She's scared of it just like she was scared of Plan B. She needs to stop avoiding the problem. Can you talk to anyone? Offer anything? I told her I'd pay for it, that I'd make the appointment for her, anything. She says I'm not ready. She's made me promise to give her a few more days. Now she says, give her until this weekend. I'm going to tell my parents at that point if she hasn't done anything. I don't know what else to do. Update post 2, March 16th, 2024. 16 days from last post, 5 days after comment update. Title: My GF is pregnant and wants to keep the baby out of fear. My girlfriend is 6 weeks pregnant. We've known she was pregnant for about 2 weeks. She took a test as soon as she missed her period. She's been putting off doing anything about it. She's scared of every option, just like she was also scared of birth control and taking Plan B. Now today, she told me she's decided to keep the baby. She can't do adoption, and she doesn't want to get an abortion. In her words, the only leave's keeping the baby. She doesn't really seem to want to do that either, but she's too scared to do anything else. I don't really understand how the thought of becoming a parent isn't the most terrifying option to her, because it definitely is to me. I get that it's not my body and I have no say at all. I just think she's not making a decision based on reason. If she truly felt like she wanted to have a baby and be a mom right now, despite what I think or feel, then I'd feel like it was at least more of a valid decision to make. She thinks it's the least bad of all options. Never mind that we're both 18, graduating high school this year and supposed to go to college, and neither of us have jobs. She hasn't even told her parents, so she's assuming they're going to help financially, and probably in other ways too. I'm sure you'll be shocked when I tell you she's too scared to tell her parents. I told her I don't think somebody who is scared of every single thing is ready to be a mom. I'm not ready to be a dad, but at least I'm not sitting there frozen with fear, not doing anything, and making huge life-changing decisions because of it. She says, it's not going to be that bad. It's a baby. There are many things worse than a baby. And she says things like, maybe we're supposed to have this baby. I told her no, this isn't some sort of kismet or dated occurrence. She's pregnant because we had unprotected sex, that's it. Because we were idiots. Not because she wants to believe the universe wants this to happen, and she's destined to be a mom to this baby. I can't even imagine her telling her parents ever. That's just how she is. I think she'll wait until it becomes obvious, and they have to ask her, then she'll finally admit to it. And by that point, they'll be 1,000,000 times more angry than they already will be. I'm freaking out. I want to go cry to my mommy if I'm being perfectly honest. Relevant comments. Her parents. As for her parents, I don't think they're unsafe. I'm sure they think she's a virgin. She goes to an all-girls Catholic school. So yeah, they have a certain set of beliefs. But I don't think there's any reason to believe they're unsafe. Honestly, she hasn't actually said it, but I think she's probably hoping that she won't actually have to be the one who tells her parents. She knows she'll get in trouble no matter what, unless she had an abortion and didn't tell them, which is totally a valid option. I think she's more scared of the actual abortion. I think she's not on birth control, because her school has told her some sort of fear-mongering information and statistics that has her convinced she'll die if she takes it, or her parents will find out, and she won't be their little girl anymore. I said a few other comments that she basically wanted everyone to ignore when she turned 18. It was strange. Girlfriend's Catholic school. You were taught by nuns? How long ago were you in school? There are definitely no nuns at her school. They still have the plaid uniforms, though. She loves the uniform. It's kind of weird. They have traditions, too, like each year they're allowed to wear different things. Like seniors can wear colorful cardigans instead of just the school-colored ones. It's like a big deal to be able to wear your colorful sweaters as a senior. We went to elementary and middle school together, at a Catholic school. Then, when it was time for high school, she actually chose the all-girls school herself. We have like 4 to 5 Catholic high schools around here, and her parents let her choose which one she wanted to attend. That's what a lot of students at our grade school do, but it's super rare for any of the girls to pick the all-girls high school. Like, I probably know of 3 girls who actually chose to go there themselves, and about half the families in our neighborhood send their kids to Catholic school. Maybe you're not the father. Get a DNA test. Is the math working? I wouldn't really see it as a relief to find out I wasn't the father. I get it. Everyone should protect themselves legally, and I'm sure when it gets to that point maybe I'll need to have a DNA test done for legally purposes, but I'm pretty positive I'm still the only person she's ever had sex with. Generally, ovulation takes place mid-cycle, so your period would be due about 2 weeks after that. Pregnancy is counted from the date of the last period, and the date of her last period was January 30th. I now know what more about ovulation and menstrual cycle than I ever thought possible. On if OOP will leave, I can't really imagine being responsible for supporting myself, my girlfriend, and a baby right now. It's crazy to think about. But I wouldn't go off to school and leave her behind to take care of a baby. That wouldn't be right. Tell her you're talking to your parents no matter what. The reason I haven't told my parents yet is because I'm pretty sure they'll contact her parents right away. I was trying to give her time to tell her parents on her own. She begged me to wait to tell my parents. I told her she has through this weekend. If she's scared of the pill, how is she not scared of childbirth? It makes absolutely no sense, but I guess birth is something she can ignore and put off for a while, and it'll just eventually end up happening. IDK. On why she was scared of Plan B. It turns out she was scared of Plan B because she read several stories about it being extremely painful, and women wishing they would just die because the pain was so intense. So she decided she'd rather just take her chances. We're actually going to the same college. Update post 3, March 30th, 2024. 2 weeks from last post, 7 weeks from OG post. My girlfriend and I are 18 and about to graduate high school. We're both planning to go ton college in the fall. We fucked up and she got pregnant. I tried to get her to take the Plan B pill right after we had unprotected sex, but she was too scared. She wanted to let the universe take its course. Now she's around 8 weeks pregnant. She hasn't been to the doctor or a Planned Parenthood or anything like that to confirm any dates, but online calculators say she's 8 weeks. She's not taking any action right now. It's like she's just ignoring it and hoping it'll go away. She regularly freaks out and cries to me about it, saying she can't be a mom. I offered to help her get an abortion and to be with her. She's too scared of that. I think she really needs to tell her parents now because I don't know what else to do. I think she just wants to hide it for as long as possible, and that honestly freaks me out. So, I warned her I was going to tell my parents. I gave her like 2 weeks and she did nothing, so I finally told my parents last night. We were all in the living room and I just decided to say it because there was never going to be a good moment to say it. I basically just told them I did something really stupid, and now she's pregnant. My mom really wanted to believe that I was joking or pranking her. She said she knew I was having sex with her, but we talked about being safe, and she was like, "How many times have we had the safe sex talk? How many times?" I could tell they were both really disappointed. My mom just sat there staring at me silently for what felt like ages. My dad was like, "You can't be a dad. You've never even had a job." My mom was really trying hard not to yell at me. She just stayed silent for a long time. Finally, she asked me about what my girlfriend says she's going to do. I explained everything that's happened so far, and my mom said I did the right thing by offering to get Plan B, and that's all I could do at that point since it's my GF's body and her choice. My dad said she's an idiot if she thinks she's just going to have this baby, and everything will be sunshine and rainbows, and that she'll be ruining both of our lives if she does that. Each side will figure this out as a family, and there's no way I'm not going to college. My mom said we need to support my GF right now because she is all alone and I'm too much of an idiot to be able to help her on my own. My mom seems to feel bad for my girlfriend now, about how she's so scared to do anything and can't talk to her parents. I asked them to please not immediately tell her parents. My parents are the type that will definitely inform her parents if she continues the pregnancy, but my mom is going to try to talk to her first. Her parents are religious. My parents aren't really religious and my mom is a nurse, so she can hopefully be a little more unbiased in that respect. So, I'm supposed to invite my girlfriend over to our house today. I'm not even telling her that I told my parents. I'm sort of tricking her into this conversation with my mom. My dad won't be there because that might feel too weird for her. I know if I let her know that I told them, she won't come over. She's going to be really pissed off, but I honestly feel relieved. Relevant comments. Symptoms. She's starting to have symptoms. She's nauseous, has thrown up a few times that she's told me about, and her boobs hurt really bad. I think she probably has an anxiety disorder just based on this and other things. I also think it's like you say, and she's avoiding having to confront it until she can't ignore it any longer. She'd rather make a decision by not making a decision, and basically have her only option decided for her. More on their schools. We go to different schools. I go to a Catholic school, but my family isn't really religious. Even at my school, we learned all about how sex and conception work, and were told about condoms in health class, but also told that hormonal birth control is bad. She goes to an all-girls Catholic school. I have no idea what they're taught there, but I feel like they're pretty progressive in some respects, based on what she tells me. Good luck with child support. Why does everyone keep saying a lifetime of child support, as if that's the worst or hardest thing here? What about being responsible for raising a whole human being? That's what terrifies me. Even though it was hard, you did the right thing in telling them. Thanks. I know my mom was crying about it later last night because my dad told me. I feel bad. It's not my parents' fault because they talked to me about it so many times, and even thought me condoms. I made my mom feel like a failure, according to my dad, It honestly is a relief having told them now, though. Did you tell your mom that she asked you to take off the condom? Yeah. My mom forced me to explain how exactly this happened since she knows both her and my dad have drilled it into me to always wear a condom. It was very embarrassing. Update post 4, April 1st, 2024, 2 days later. I just made a post about telling my parents that my girlfriend is pregnant. My mom, who is also a nurse, decided she needed to talk to my girlfriend. So I invited my GF over to our house yesterday, but I didn't tell her that I had said anything to my parents or that my mom was planning to talk to her about it. I know some people thought this was wrong to do. Maybe it was, IDK. I knew she'd be mad at me, but I also knew she'd never come over to let my mom talk to her otherwise. My GF knows my parents. She's over at my house all the time. As soon as she got here, she had to run to the bathroom because she was sick, but I don't think it was the throwing up kind of sick. My mom was basically waiting there as soon as she got out and let her know that I had told my parents everything. The look my GF gave me told me she hated me in that moment. She tried to leave. I asked her to please stay. My mom wasn't going to yell at her or be mean. She just wanted to help. She kept saying she didn't want to talk about it, she doesn't need help, etc. I think my mom did the best she could. She was nice about it. She did most of the talking, and my GF just sat there mostly in silence. She didn't try to pressure my GF into anything. She basically just said that no matter what decision she makes, she can't continue to ignore the situation, because that'll only make things work. If she wants to consider abortion, time is really limited. My mom explained exactly what happens during both forms of abortion. She told her, if she is continuing the pregnancy, she needs to get medical care to make sure everything is okay, is everything growing in the right place, etc. My mom even gave her resources for where she can go to get checked out if she doesn't want to go to her normal doctor right now. And if she's keeping the baby, we all need to figure out how that's going to happen since the two of us are nowhere near ready for that. As soon as my mom said the word adoption, my GF said, I can't do that. My mom was not trying to convince her on adoption, just trying to talk about all the options. My GF cried a lot. She said she's still thinking about everything. My mom asked to please let her help her make an appointment just to find out how far along she is and that everything is okay. My GF said no, she'd do it herself. My mom offered to help her tell her parents. My GF said no, she's not ready for that yet. I know my mom was frustrated, but she didn't really show it. My GF wasn't going to open up no matter what my mom did or said. Then later, after my mom left us alone, my GF told me she's sorry, but she can't get an abortion either. But she couldn't tell my mom that in the moment. So, that's it. She's not going to get an abortion. She's not going to give it up for adoption. I'm going to be a dad, and my life is over. We're not going to college, or if we do, it'll be not at the college of our choice, and not with any sort of normal college experience. Forget about dream careers. Forget about everything we thought our lives would look like. I'm going to have to get a shitty job that doesn't make enough to survive, let alone support a baby with. We're going to need government assistance. We're going to struggle from this day forward for the rest of our lives because she thinks getting an abortion would be murdering our baby. Oh, and she loves me so much that she can't kill the baby we made. Ugh. I feel like an asshole because I know I made a mistake that caused this, but I just think she's not thinking this through at all. It's 100% emotion and nothing rational about it. When I asked her how in the hell she thinks we're going to take care of a baby or what our lives will be like with a baby, she says, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It wasn't worth it. I'd rather wear 5 condoms at once, and yes, I know you shouldn't double up condoms, rather than ever have unprotected sex if I could go back. I was up until like 3 a.m. just feeling like the world is ending. After she left, I told both my parents about what she said. I may have had a bit of a breakdown at that time. My mom said we weren't going to talk about it at all today, so our family came over for Easter today, and we all pretended like everything is perfect, and answered all of my relatives' questions about my college plans as if any of that is still happening. Relevant comments. Trade school. We have absolutely no trade-related training at my high school. I heard there used to be a little of that back in the 80s. Generations of my family have gone to my high school. So, it's more of a tradition that I go there than anything, but they are hardcore college prep. Pretty sure there's nothing like that at my GF's school either. She goes to an all-girls Catholic school. They got rid of all the home EC stuff there, and she was glad because she said the cooking classes would stink up everything. But she said they have nothing that isn't academic anymore either. Possible abuse? I think she's just scared of going to the doctor, scared of facing reality, and scared of her parents finding out. She's never been to a gynecologist. More on GF and her family. I don't think she's having sex with anyone else or has been raped. Crazier things have happened, but I just don't get that feeling at all. It wasn't the first time we had unprotected sex. We'd done it a few times before, but I always pulled out. This is the first time she asked me to come inside her. Well, it's the first time she actually told me to do it, but not the first time she talked about it. She was turned on by the idea. At least that's what she told me. She really likes sex. I know it's hard to believe that somebody seemingly so scared of everything would even have sex. She was very nervous about it at first. She wanted to do it, but was scared somebody would find out and she'd get in trouble. She had never even masturbated before. I was the first person to touch her sexually, according to her. For a few months, all she'd let me do was touch her with my hand and get her off that way. That was the first time she ever had an orgasm. Now she watches porn and has bought herself vibrators. I know her family. On the outside, they seem like a perfect family, like some sort of 1950s TV family. They're religious, but not nutcases. They just have Catholic beliefs about sex, marriage, babies. Her dad is super nice, her mom is nice, but her mom has substance abuse issues that the entire family covers for. I don't even know the full extent because she will not go into great detail, but I've seen enough firsthand just being around them in their home. Seeing a doctor. I know. My mom tried to talk to her about all of the reasons she needs to see a doctor, about how dangerous it can be if she doesn't get medical care. Then today she texted me that her vagina smells very weird. I'm like, go to the doctor. What if you have some sort of infection that is dangerous when pregnant? I don't know anything about this stuff. I think I'm going to try making an appointment for her somewhere where she doesn't have to use her parents' insurance, since she obviously won't tell them yet. She's not going to make an appointment. No, I'm at the point of doing it for her. Why can't you go to college? Sure, leave her here with our kid while I go off to college for 4 years. Doesn't seem very fair. Money is one thing, and whatever job I could get while in college full-time would not provide her with very much child support. But what about actually taking care of a baby? She's just supposed to do that all on her own. College housing. I just checked, and there is no on-campus family housing there. We're going to the same college. Well, we were going. They have daycare. The fact that I'm looking at daycare for my baby is enough to make me literally feel weak, like the ground is about to fall right out from under me. Stop playing the victim and sign your rights away. I'm not going to sign my rights away, as if that's even a thing. I'm not going to abandon my kid, and I think kids need more than just financial support from parents. So if I want to have a freak out that my life is going to quickly go from revolving around me to completely revolving around a kid, my kid, then please let me have that. Do not comment on original posts. You will be banned from this sub. See rule number 7. Editor's note. Remember to keep things civil, please. Edit 2. OOP posted again today. It was removed, but the amazing Direct Caterpillar 77 saved it for me. See below. Update 5. April 8th, 2024. 1 week from previous post. Instead of answering every comment, I'll just post this sort of update here. Last week we were both on spring break. What should have been the best spring break of my high school life sucked. I hoped to convince her to go to the doctor last week. That didn't happen. She won't come over to my house anymore because she's afraid my mom will corner her and try to talk her more. She told me she couldn't see a doctor over spring break because she had a lot to work on for school, and she'd be stressed out by a doctor's appointment to get any of her work done. I told her I was going to tell her parents. She got mad and said she's 18, and I have no right to tell her parents. I asked her what she thinks is going to happen once her parents find out. She said she didn't know but wasn't ready for them to know yet. Maybe she wouldn't tell them and would just go to college. Okay, then what happens if she gives birth in her dorm room? I told her it was really freaking me out. I ended up having a full-blown panic attack on Saturday. Never had one of those before. I started to feel really dizzy before I lost my hearing and threw up and seriously thought I was having a heart attack and about to die. My mom was monitoring my vital signs the whole time. Once I recovered from that, she basically just said she doesn't think my GF is going to end her pregnancy, and we just have to move forward with the idea a baby is coming, and what needs to be done to cause the least amount of damage.